Well, there are a lot of problems with the TPUSA response to Charlie Kirk's assassination, lying about drones, tearing down the cameras, saying that the police told you to do it, tearing down these cameras, and a lot more, Candace Owens is taking TPUSA and TP Action CEO Tyler Bauer to task. She says she knew Tyler Bauer was lying when he tweeted this guy was commanded by police to take down these cameras. And she's been taking a number of the lies that TPUSA has been putting out, according to her. And she worked there. So she knows this. She knows these individuals very, very well. But anyway, here's a sort of a sped up video of her explaining this about Tyler Boyer yesterday on the show. Watch.
I actually don't know why this video, I don't know what this video could have done that he sent me, other than to make me feel even more uncomfortable. Because the video he sent me is quite shocking. It's also the reason that I knew that Tyler Boyer was lying when he tweeted that this guy was commanded by the police to take down the cameras. He's lying because I have every minute of what this guy was doing, thanks to him having sent it to me, okay? Every minute of what he was doing before he took those cameras down. And there are only 4 minutes, by the way, before he takes those cameras down. So he's next to and he's in front of Mikey McCoy when Charlie gets shot. Now, to his credit, he actually did see Charlie get shot. He saw in like a split second, sees Charlie bleeding and runs, and doesn't run very far. He just runs a couple of yards away. Now, I should mention that the camera guy, he too was also brought into the company by Tyler Boyer, okay?
Investigative journalist Brian Ferentz has been on this story long before Charlie was even murdered. He'd been investigating, reporting on the corruption, the sexual assault cover-up by TPUSA CEO Tyler Boyer. Brian even put out a poll last April about this. You can see the timestamp on this. Take a look at this poll. Should Charlie Kirk fire Tyler Boyer, given allegations of covering up sexual assault and other corruption? And we know they were doing an audit of where all this money was disappearing. Charlie was doing this audit. So Brian, investigative journalist, great journalist, joins us again on the show. Brian, thanks for staying on this story and digging deep where others are scared to look. Great to have you back on the show.
Thank you, Clayton and Natalie. Great to be back on the show. And I did want to point out all this evidence that I'm going to be talking about. It's on my website, brianferentz.com. And also you can follow me on X at brianferentz1, including the screenshots that shows Tyler Boyer incorrectly claiming that the police ordered Terrell Farnsworth, who was the cameraman, to remove that camera and those SD cards. So those screenshots are there. I did want to talk about, since you mentioned that allegation of sexual harassment cover-up, that is one that really a shocking story. And again, on brianferentz.com, I did send it to your producer as well if he wants to show any of the screenshots. But it's important because this is a pattern of corruption and a pattern of cover-ups and a pattern of gaslighting people. If you look at the interactions that Superfeed Technology CEO and Turning Point Action CEO Tyler Boyer has to anyone questioning him or his team, he immediately attacks that person, gaslights them, invalidates the question. So yeah, those are screenshots of him claiming that the police instructed the cameraman Terrell Farnsworth to remove those cameras and evidence in an active crime scene, which is absolutely not true. Police protocol stipulates that absolutely you cannot break the chain of custody due to potential tampering of evidence. That was an active crime scene. They absolutely had no right to do that. And frankly, it puts the entire case in jeopardy because the alleged assassin, his attorney can claim, well, this evidence, the chain of custody was broken. So how do we know this wasn't tampered with, this evidence? So, it could cause...
Right, that's O.J. Simpson.
Right, exactly.
Brian, that's O.J. Simpson all over again, right? It's the chain of evidence. It was the LAPD bungled this investigation. You can't trust the chain of evidence here. Who touched the SD card? Was it who had access to this? So when can you unpack what Candace was saying yesterday and what Tyler Boyer is saying publicly? Can you walk us through like those two different positions here?
Sure. And in the video from Candace Owens, there's two main employees that she talks about. One is Mikey McCoy, who is the chief of staff for TPUSA. And she shows a video of Mikey McCoy It's literally less than 1 second. It's like 800ths of a second. As soon as Charlie is shot, he puts his hands up, supposedly to cover his ear, but he has his phone in his ear, and he's walking away. And the interesting thing is, Mikey McCoy, his father is a pastor, Pastor Rob McCoy, and he did a sermon recently where he said, Mikey McCoy was a hero, and he had blood all over him. That's a direct quote. He had blood all over him. Well, that's impossible because he was behind the tent. He was walking away. He was, 20 yards away. He absolutely did not have blood over him. So it's a little bit bizarre. It's a little bit bizarre behavior. I mean, if I was someone's chief of staff and supposedly their best friend and they got shot, I probably would run either towards them. I certainly wouldn't calmly stroll away with, my phone to my ear, which is one of the things that Candace is pointing out. The other thing she's pointing out is Terrell Farnsworth, who's the cameraman, who was identified as the one that removed the camera, which was directly behind Charlie Kirk, immediately afterwards. He's also on the video, and he's seen kind of running away to a grassy knoll as well. And then he decides that he's going to shoot a selfie live video or just record himself, I guess. I don't know if it was live or not.
I think we do have that.
Yeah, let's run that, Brian. We have that video. Yeah, let's run that video. So this is Farnsworth here, who decides to shoot a selfie video just seconds after Charlie Kirk is assassinated.
And he flips the camera, so you do see Charlie being loaded into the SUV. So while concerned parties are in on the job of hopefully saving his life, he thinks, I need to document how I feel right now. Let's watch.
They just shot Charlie. They just shot Charlie. They just shot Charlie.
See, there he goes. Look, my friend is being loaded into an SUV. I'm going to stand here and record my reaction.
They just shot Charlie.
I mean, it reminds me, Brian, almost like one of those TikTok videos.
What he says here, I want you to, don't talk over it. He says he's dead. Nobody knows at this point that he's dead. Nobody knows this yet. So he then presumably is the first one to proclaim Charlie Kirk dead.
Yeah, they're loading him in the car. I mean, anyway, Brian, it reminds me, I was just going to say, it reminds me of one of those TikTok, I'm feeling, I want to flip on the camera and start crying for the camera. I mean, I don't want to denigrate, but I mean, it's bizarre behavior. If my friend is shot, I'm not going to flip on a selfie camera and film my reaction. I'm going to do what I can to help. And, if there's, I don't know. But
well, something the Turning Point's people said in their response on Monday was, we had strict protocols in place. Was the protocol ever film yourself? I wonder. What was take a selfie ever part of this? What safety does that promote? That belies all rational thought, doesn't it?
It does. And how did he know that Charlie Kirk was dead? I mean, he didn't get close to him. I mean, he saw people carry him into the car. How does he know that he's dead? It's bizarre that he pronounces that immediately after the shooting and then goes back and steals the camera and the footage from an active crime scene. And allegedly stood on the chair that Charlie Kirk was shot, by the way. I don't know if there was two chairs there or not, but you can see him, he's looking around first to make sure no one's watching him. And then he stands on a chair, which appears to be the chair that Charlie Kirk was assassinated in, and removes the camera directly behind Charlie Kirk. It's just bizarre behavior. They asked him on Charlie Kirk's show, Andrew Colvett asked him, why did you do that to Terrell Farnsworth? And his response was exactly the opposite of Tyler Boyer. Tyler Boyer had said the police told him to do that. But that's not what he said on this show. He said there's evil people out there, and I needed to protect the footage. So you have conflicting answers.
He had said, I feel so sad that I thought of this, But what I thought of was how people would misuse this. But what he first thought of was himself and how he wanted to immortalize his reaction. So that doesn't track. Now, I want to ask you about this because the Turning Point's executives are presenting this narrative that Charlie was like the Messiah and they are the disciples. And so therefore they are blameless, and anybody who is questioning the disciples is disgusting. That's what they said. They're disgusted that we would question the actions of the sanctioned messianic disciples. That's how they would like this to come off. And I reject it from the core of my being. I find that disgusting. Now you have evidence that these people had character questions long before the assassination, and we should not forget that and allow them to just have this protection of discipleship. Can you tell us what you found about the allegations about Boyer long before the shooting?
Sure. So basically, there is on my website, there's a lot of other documented cases of allegations of sexual assault going back years, and it always kind of gets covered up. This is one from 2024. You can see the date is December 2024. So this is an alleged sexual assault. I'm going to just summarize a little bit what's in this police report. But this is a very young girl, very young. Yeah, as typically happens with Turning Point, they recruit all these really young, very attractive girls usually. So she was assigned to work with a prominent Turning Point employee named Matthew Martinez by Tyler Boyer. And yeah, there's a photo of Boyer and Martinez like in Mexico. They're right next to each other. And Martinez, he's frequently appeared actually on the Charlie Kirk show and is heavily promoted as a Turning Point speaker. He leads trainings. He's known as a data guru. He's given credit for drawing the maps for all their door knocking and, quote, the mastermind behind the math and science. He's taken a lead role in election results. And then Martinez is actually a current board member on the Arizona Young Republicans. So he's involved in the Republican scene. And you may have remembered the scandal that Young Republicans had, that there's Turning Point connections there as well. But let's skip that for a second. So the victim alleges that she was a junior employee working with Martinez, who was a senior employee, and Tyler Boyer, and Martinez acted as her, quote, project leader. Okay, this is her boss or her superior. And then she also claims that Boyer and Martinez were friends. They had drinks together. They would be photographed together. Always, Boyer said, of Martinez, he's relentlessly worked to train thousands of ballot chasers, full-time and part-time, gave him an award, all this stuff. But from the police report, Martinez is with this victim, and they're in a car together alone, and she has a dress on, and he places his hand on the inside of her thigh and begins stroking the inside of her leg and reaches her pelvis. He's touching her pelvis area in her underwear, and then he tries to kiss her and tries to get her to go into his hotel room. Well, she tells him, F you, get out of the car, and then she filed that police report. Well, what was strange is that this is an employee also of Turning Point. So there's two Turning Point employees. So Tyler Boyer, who's friends with Martinez, basically then comes in and completely inappropriately takes control of the investigation. This should be a human relations HR investigation, but he takes control of it. There's an email on my website. Basically, he's responding to someone in HR. He's saying that he's moving the date of the HR meeting, and according to the victim, this is a quote, yeah, that's it. Tyler was leading the investigation in the interview. Essentially, I was just meeting with Tyler. It was him just raking over the coals and asking questions because they had spoken to Matthew first. So, and then there's another letter, which is from April 9th, 2024, from Veronica Peterson, who identifies herself as counsel for Turning Point. Yeah, that's it. And she says, upon your commencement, she's talking to the victim, your commencement of employment with TPA, you signed a confidentiality agreement, NDA, and we are informing you that we've been informed you're actively discussing a confidential investigation that arose from your report of harassment. They say harassment, but it's sexual assault is what the police report says. So it's interesting that they downgraded it from sexual assault to harassment by a coworker. And then they go on to say you would be in violation of your NDA and you must cease continuing such communications. TPA takes this matter very seriously and is prepared to take legal action for any continued documented violation.
Because she reported it to police?
That's exactly what it is.
Right.
So she reported it to the police and they say your NDA obligated you to only report this internally. That's crazy.
And it's completely invalid. The legal precedent is very clear.
Yeah.
NDAs do not apply to sexual assault. Absolutely not.
No company takes your civil liberties away because that's crazy.
Now, people could say, Brian, don't let's not muddy the water here. As someone in the chat saying, let's not muddy the water between Charlie Kirk's assassination and the fraud and maybe cover up and corruption that was happening at TPUSA. Maybe you could address that here. Do you think that totally separate, nothing to see here?
Yeah, that's a good point. And if it was a one-off, I would maybe agree with that. But this is not a one-off. This is a pattern of behavior. And you have someone, Tyler Boyer, who is experienced in cover-ups. He's experiencing cover-ups. So here he is very clearly, inappropriately assuming the control of a sexual assault investigation, covering it up, legally threatening that employee. And then you have another situation, which is now where Tyler Boyer is covering up for his employees again. Oh, they interfered with a crime scene. Oh, let me just say the police told them to do that. And then there's a lot of other irregularities with many of Tyler Boyer's comments because he's experienced in covering up, running PR, saving face, and he's also made legal threats to Candace Owens and other people. If you keep talking about Charlie Kirk and this, we're going to sue you because it's a pattern of behavior. Their company is incredibly litigious. I got some kind of weird malformed. It wasn't a cease and desist. It was like a demand letter. It was just absolutely ridiculous. I just gave it right back to them because it was completely insane. But that's their pattern of behavior.
I hope you used it as toilet paper.
Yeah, I really did. This is a pattern of behavior for them. They cover things up, they gaslight, and then they follow it up with legal threats. So when you're talking about don't muddy the water, this is a pattern of behavior. These are skilled, emotional and psychological manipulators that have the ability to just lie constantly, gaslight people, and then follow it up with legal threats. And, oh, by the way, we're the good guys. Please continue donating, tens of millions of dollars to our organization.
Now, we don't know how much Charlie Kirk would have had a hand in this. We don't know what he knew about this. What we do know is that he had ordered an audit on the financials because there was things that didn't pass the smell test, and that he was trying to regain control. He seemed to need to regain control of his maybe C-level executives. So that maybe gives us a clue that he might have felt like the natives ran away with it, or what is the expression? The natives were in charge.
The inmates were in charge. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. She's terrible with idioms. We apologize, Brian.
Well, I mean, that's an interesting point. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Brian.
Yeah, I just wanted to touch on one other thing. So, this is from another employee at Turning Point. So I've had multiple discussions with multiple, usually former, some current Turning Point employees. This one confirmed the allegations of sexual assault and that it was covered up. And then they went on to say this. They said, the people at Turning Point are not good people. There is nothing godly about them. They are protecting what is going on there, and it is the culture. They're using intimidation tactics regularly. My first week, I met Tyler Boyer, and there was something off about him from the beginning. Boyer is not who he thinks he is. He is an arrogant asshole. There were people in my employee training that said, Boyer, the guy is full of shit. Sorry for the cursing. There's an act like he has it all figured out. The first thing I figured out is they lie and they don't tell the whole truth, particularly about their data. They weren't telling the truth about what they were presenting to donors. They were inflating the numbers, and their data was wrong. Their app is flawed and not accurate. Their training is garbage. There's something not right here, particularly with Tyler Boyer. Boyer does not fear God at all. He is not a Christian. The man is a monster.
Wow. Okay. Those are some tough words from a current TPA employee, right? That's a current TPA
That
employee?
one's from a former TPA, but these are multiple employees that corroborate the story, all verifiable, their employment, their plenty of other interesting financial transactions. That's why Kirk was calling for an audit and a Doge-style audit. And I believe, I don't have a screenshot of this, but I believe Tyler Boyer, again, kind of dismissed it, saying, oh, no, this is just a regular audit that we do all the time. No, it's not. It doesn't call for a culture change. It doesn't say, where's our funding coming from? Where's our funding going? This was a major audit, and as far as I have been informed, it's been completely canceled since Charlie Kirk was assassinated.
Wow.
And yet, the thing that stuck out the most to me at his memorial were Turning Point USA speakers saying, get married young, have a family, be an upstanding Christian. I mean, who was the person that spoke with his wife? There was somebody specific. Do you remember? Was that Mikey McCoy? No. Somebody in the chat, please. There was a husband and wife that came on the stage and said, Charlie encouraged me to get married young. This is my beautiful wife. This, somebody will remember.
I don't remember off the top of my head. Yeah, I don't have that.
It was a long program. It was a 5-hour program, but there was somebody there who specifically it was be a young, upstanding person, follow the Lord, get married young. And so this stood out to me. And now that you're telling me that this culture persisted, that was not in line with that message. So
that's absolutely true. And I've written a lot of other articles about some of the questionable speakers at TPUSA Faith, some of which were former OnlyFans models, also known as prostitutes. There's a former porn star that at one point was involved as a speaker with Turning Point, and that was kind of discarded quickly. But they've had atheists speak at Turning Point USA Faith. There's a lot of really questionable people that they put into the limelight and throw up on stage that do not represent the supposed Christian values that they should.
No, I've heard some unbelievable stories about some of these parties and things that would take place, and some of the individuals who spoke on that stage would make a lot of people really disgusted.
I think the chat is saying that was Mikey McCoy. It was. I see it right now. Remember this?
Yeah.
The wife looked like a young Isla Fisher.
Yeah.
With the white dress.
Okay.
That's probably
Can't
lost
see
on
it,
this
but-
audience. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyhow. Okay. I'm remembering that. Thank you so much for this journalism. You have. My jaw is on the floor. So please come back with.
Thank you, Brian.
Investigation.
Thank you both. Again, all this evidence is on brianference.com. Have a good rest of your day. Thank you again.